Hello, welcome to Making Photos. I'm Ian and Butterfield. Minimalism. What is minimalism and how can it be part of our photography? I covered the topic in a live stream a little while back, so let's join the live stream and I'll explain all about it. All right, let's talk about minimalism now. This is the other one that goes hand in hand with negative space. It is very similar. And quite often negative space images are minimalist, but minimalist images aren't always negative space. There's a lot of overlap between them. Minimalist images I would describe as being characterized by their simplicity, and that it doesn't necessarily mean your subject is small in the frame. It can still fill the frame, but there is an inherent simplicity about it. And let me go through some of my images and try and explain what I mean by that. Here's one. It's the image I was using as the thumbnail for this live stream. And this is about as minimal as you can get. It's a stick in a sand dune in Maspalomas, and you've just got the patterns in the sand, the stick and its shadow, and that's all there is in that image. So very, very simplistic, and this is about what I was saying earlier about having that point of focus. We've got that point of focus, it's the stick. Everything else is negative space, everything else is really simplistic, but you've got something in that image for the eye to latch onto, and that's what makes it work. Here's another minimalist image. It's the rear deck of Marco Polo, something I will never see again. And this is a minimalist image because all it is this the barriers, but you've got a couple of things of interest for the eye. You've got the lead-in lines drawing you in, you've got the flagpole bang in the middle because we've got this mirroring, or this almost mirroring, but then I've broken the rule by just leaving this amount of the bunting in there, and it's almost asking the question, what's been going on the ship? Why is it now empty? Why is there only just this little tired bit of bunting left? What was the party last night? So it asks a question of the viewer, but it's kept simple. There's no distracting elements in there. There's just this one thing to look at. This is another one, again, very, very different. We've got this one element on one side, the minimalist thing, the couple enjoying time on the seafront in Funchal, and the rest it's patterned. Yes, we've got the few birds around, they're scattered around on there, but there's a sort of unity to the rest of it. It's all homogeneous, but this one point of interest, and that's part of what makes this one work. That's the minimalist element to it. And again, coming in close, details on here. This is actually on the Falkland Islands. It's just a tin shed. It's a minimalist image because it's just lines, and I've deliberately framed everything else out to create as simple an image as possible. And we've got a contrast in there, and it's just a contrast of lines going in one direction versus lines going in the other direction with it, divided off by the green line. Again, simplicity, minimalist. It's looking up from a low down location to the sky. It's predominantly the sky, it's predominantly the whole. We've just got a couple of little details for the eye to move around, and it's about where the eye is going to look in there. You look into it, first of all you see the opening, and then you see the trees, and you see the barrier and all that. So that one works because of it. And I've even left the space at the top to off-center this to give another sort of compositional element. It's almost a rule of thirds, actually more the golden rule actually. It's it's just below the midpoint on there. Yes, it's central that way, and that's because this almost mirroring. Okay, it's shadow. We've got a contrast mirroring with that. Lots of different little elements in there that help make that one work. This is just patterns in the sand. And again, we've got strong diagonal lines with it. We've got the grain, we've got the texture in there. We've got the cracks in the sand. It's a very simplistic image, but there's enough interest in there for the eye to look around and say, oh, what's going on there, and to follow the lines through, to look at the little cracks in the sand up there. So that's what's making it work. This is again slightly different. This time we've got a diagonal, across there. We've got lines leading us in with it. It's very simplistic. That what's it about? It's just about sand and sky. But we've got the footprints, we've got these little areas where, whilst it's minimal, there are things for the eye to settle on and to look at and to be interested in. Here, again, strong diagonal, negative space of the snow, but this line of stones going through, very simplistic, very minimalistic. And here's one where the subject literally fills the frame. So how can something fill the frame be minimalist? Well, it's because we've just got one colour and one repeated texture that goes over the whole thing. And we've got things for the eye to settle on within it, which are the different petals. And in fact, we've got my hero petal round here with it. So I would say it's minimalistic because there's just this one item. That's all we're looking at. It's very, very simplistic. This one I debated on whether to put in. So I would say it's minimalistic because it's very simplistic in terms it's a reflection of a building within a building. And it's abstract. There's a simplicity about it. With this one as well, this is saying, although what I'm saying here is it's minimalistic, we've got the diagonal in there, we've got our subject, we've got a negative space around it, but it's not a completely empty negative space. We've got this interesting grid pattern. And this is the Biodome in Montreal. And if you want to see about the shoot that this came from, have a look at my travel channel tomorrow and it will be appearing on there. Another way of getting minimalist images is using intentional camera movement, and it's a way of simplifying your image that it becomes blurs. It's minimal in that sense, rather than it just being completely empty. Again, a different view of that stick, just with a divide line between sand and sky. And again, minimalism here, very little in the scene, but we can get even more minimalistic with just something like that. And notice these diagonals are coming through, not from corner to corner, but they are equally offset at each side. And that's a combination of tilting the camera and the hillside as well. So it was a combination of both to create that. And again, very, very minimal there. It's all about the texture of the snow, but we've got these little points in it for the eye to settle on. And that's often the key within minimalism, is that first glance, there's just one thing there, but having one or two other little things where the eye can eventually see them and to settle on them, I think is something that helps make a minimalist image work. And I've put this one in because I won a competition with it. Well, I say a competition, it was a Facebook group a few years back, and the competition was minimalist. So this was my entry. It was the minimal list with one entry. Enter the minimalist competition. Anyway, I hope you found that helpful. You know, I'd love to see your minimalist images. So if you've created some, please upload them to my Facebook group. The link's down below in the show notes. On the screen here is a list of other videos which will help improve your photography, and the one on negative space is particularly interesting, so go and have a look at that one now, and I'll see you in one of those videos. Thanks for watching, keep making great photos, and bye for now.